Thank you very much for joining me today. I'm going to try to stay within my time. I think have half hour, 25 minutes or half hour, and try to leave maybe five minutes for questions and answers as well. My name is Safa Al-Kitab. I'm the CEO of iGo AutoCab. We're now a wholly owned company by Uber, Uber Technologies. So the talk today is why ground transportation is the next big thing in business travel. And I'd like to share with you my ideas on this topic. So you look at GDSs and travel management companies and the services that they offer today. Mainly are around airline and hotel reservations, plus other services. But mainly those are the two areas of services that are provided. Most of the revenue comes from that. Adding ground transportation to that and making it a fundamental part of the service gives opportunity for to add revenue to the additional revenue the revenue that you've got. But also it can offer something different. Honestly, if you go out there and see all the service companies that are providing it, it's like air travel, and there isn't as much differentiation as before. And coming in and saying, look, I can also offer ground transportation on a single bill and offer that as a complete service really makes sense from a differentiation perspective, and probably can unlock other revenue from the traditional hotel and airline revenue that you already make. And I think it will make your service stickier than before, because if you think about it, you might have, let's say, a company has 1,000 employees. I don't know, maybe 100 of them actually travel using international travel, air, and hotels. But how about the other 900 employees? Probably all of them use ground transportation for business travel, or at least 500-600 of them do that. And if you're able to engage with the other 500-600, that makes your service a lot stickier. And simply put, drive more growth for your business. So ground transportation, though, in terms of the riders, things have really changed. In terms of their expectations have changed in terms of when you're looking to do ground transportation, what you have to offer, their rider experience, if you will. In the past, the old way, what they were expecting from you is to provide transportation from the airport to the hotel, and maybe from the hotel back to the airport. And that's about it. What they expect today is you take care of their ground transportation everywhere and anywhere while they're on travel. So that's one change in their expectation. If you want to go after ground transportation, to me, you got to address that. The other thing in terms of the old way, in terms of bookings, they're all paper kind of approach. I remember doing that business travel. I get an email with the name of a driver and a phone number, and I arrive at the airport and I get my printout, and the driver has their own printout, and we're trying to call each other and trying to find each other at the airport to do that transportation service. That really won't work anymore. What the rider is expecting is an experience similar to what you'd have, let's say, for example, on the Uber app. You get, digital booking, on demand, and pre-booking, not just pre-booking, but also on demand, and then tracking capability and seeing picture of the driver. That's what they expect, going forward. So before we kind of take a little bit of a deeper dive on ground transportation, I want to look at the other two sectors that you've been working with for many, many years, namely the hotel and the aviation industry and the services that you provide there. If you look at historically the growth for both of those markets, before the year 2000, they were really pretty flat. And I see a lot of young people here. Certainly, I'm old enough to remember that in the 1990s, when you want to take a flight or get into a hotel, I mean, they're half empty, weren't they? You get on an airplane, half the seats were empty, and you get into a hotel and half of the rooms are empty at that time. And we probably had 10 times less hotel rooms and airplane seats as we have today. So really, what happened? What unlocked that growth at that time? And really, the dot-com days is really what unlocked it, because what that allowed to happen is there was a disassociation between demand and supply. The people who sorted out the booking and got the booking from the customer became different than the people who performed the service, be it a hotel or an airline transportation, right? And that allowed basically the industry to grow. And people like Amadeus, for example, stepped in to create a digital marketplace for demand generators and operators to work together. And that's what really happened for both industries to allow that growth. In ground transportation today, honestly, if I want to be honest with you, the ground transportation industry today works like the hotel and airline industry of 20 years ago. You have great ground transportation companies like Addison Lee and even Uber and Get and all these companies, but they basically go sell their journey, and they're the only ones that can sell their journey. And when they do get their journey, they fulfill it with their own vehicles. And you have one entity. It's kind of like the British Airways of 30 years ago, one entity that actually is doing the booking. And if they have a booking and they don't have a driver for it, that booking gets dropped on the floor. And if they have a driver that's available to take a booking and they can't get it themselves, that driver stays empty. And that is inherently inefficient. And that is where IGO came in. We identified this opportunity about three years ago, where we created, if you will, the Amadeus of the ground transportation, a digital marketplace that can connect demand generators and operators, connect them together to have seamless experience going forward. But there is basically one difference between the booking experience of a hotel and an airline and ground transportation. And I don't know, who can tell me what that is? I'm just trying to wake up everybody here. Who can tell me what would be the difference between booking a car or a vehicle versus a hotel or an airline? Anybody? How about the people who work for AutoCab, maybe? Oh, okay, I'll tell you. So when you're booking an airline or a hotel, mostly it's for the future. It's for next week, for 2 weeks from now. And that hotel isn't moving, it's stationary. And that airport isn't moving, it's stationary. And so connecting the two, the rider, the passenger, and the service that they would get from an airline or hotel is fairly straightforward. When it comes to ground transportation, typically you want that service now, not a week from now or 2 weeks from now. And everybody's moving. The driver is moving around and the rider is moving around. And you have to, within 30 seconds, put them together when the rider is on a street corner and it's raining outside. That's very, very different from an experience perspective, booking a hotel, booking an airline. And so what you need is a technological solution that integrates vertically between the rider, having an app, for example, and the driver, all integrated, working together in an electronic way. And that is what's required to unlock this. So this is actually the reason, believe it or not, that Uber decided to acquire AutoCab. That happened, in March of this year, that we closed the deal. They saw this concept. We had this marketplace. We had the technology to make this work. And we have this marketplace working in the UK, doing millions of bookings already. And they liked this concept, and they wanted to back it to make it a global marketplace. So then IGO one day can become the Amadeus of ground transportation. We're, of course, tasked with creating that over the next 2 to 3 years. Okay? Now, we have the elements of what it takes to make this successful. Like I said, that rider to driver experience needs to be end-to-end. So IGO is not only a marketplace, but also our company has the booking and dispatch system that runs the fleets. And so not only our tech connects to demand generators and provides that marketplace, but also goes all the way to the technology that's in the hand of the driver. And that is the only way that you can ensure through a technological solution that when you make a ground transportation booking, things will go smoothly. I know why a lot of travel management companies haven't tackled ground transportation before. Because why? Because margins, although you have a lot of volume, but margins tend to be low on any one journey. And if a journey goes wrong, you lose the entire account. One taxi ride goes wrong, and then you lost your airline or your hotel booking, you lose a big account. And the reason that was the case is because technology was not available in the ground transportation to make that rider experience. Now, you tell me, when was it the last time, I'm sure you can point to something, but in reality, when was it the last time you ordered an Uber or a Get or a Free Now and it didn't work? Like, it works the vast majority of the time. Why is that? Why does that work? Why can you do millions of bookings there? Because it's a technologically connected solution end-to-end between driver and passenger. And once you do that, you will get the reliability. And that's what we've done here. So we've ensured the reliability through automation and through technology. So we've got the tech that runs the fleets. We also have a functioning marketplace that already is doing millions of bookings a month already in the UK. And we have more than 500 ground transportation companies already providing service on this. And we also have major demand generators already that are pumping through lots of work through this marketplace, bringing it alive. And it has begun already. Today, actually, Get uses our marketplace to provide its business travelers ground transportation up and down the country. Although Get has their own vehicles in London and other cities, but they were looking to offer a ground transportation service that can service any customer from anywhere to anywhere at any time. And they've recognized they can't do it with just where they operate. They have to work with a plethora of operators up and down the country to provide that service. Also, Addison Lee, as you know, great company here in London, provides great service, but they don't operate outside of London. How do they offer a service nationally and in the future internationally? They connect through the iGo marketplace. Uber for Business as well is here today. Also is interconnected with the iGo marketplace, providing that service nationally today and in the future globally. And all of those three, to start off with, they have their own fleets, right? And they decided to work with the iGo marketplace to expand their service. But CMAC, which I also believe is here today, they don't have their own fleets. They actually don't have their own drivers, and they don't have cars. They decided to embrace the iGo marketplace to provide the service through automation and provide a national service throughout the UK. They're great partners of ours, and we're working together to expand internationally as well. Okay? So why choose iGo? Like I said, that vertical integration between technology is very, very important. You cannot work with a marketplace and a network that, you make an electronic booking and on the back end they're sending an email to some transportation provider. That will never work. Maybe, I don't know, my airline example to get an email, I don't know. I demand a lot more. I'm not going to work with emails, sorry. I'm not going to print out a thing to get me to find my driver. But what you need is a vertically integrated solution where the rider on some technology that you're using connected via API to our marketplace that has hundreds of operators on it providing transportation services, and technology like ours that runs those ground transportation, that automates the dispatch function and the driver allocation and essentially connects the rider and the driver to be side by side from a communication technology perspective. That's the only way this is going to work. And that's what the iGo marketplace and AutoCap can bring to the table. And like I said, today we have 500 UK operators up and down the country, I think covering, about 92% of all the population in the UK. We have operators that are doing a great job taking work from a variety of demand generators. Put together 80,000 vehicles waiting to perform that service. And we are poised for global expansion. We have a very aggressive plan over the next 2 years to operate globally and operate everywhere. And the cool thing is we've got the tools, the technology, and the backing from a financial perspective, but also from a demand generation perspective. For those of you that have worked in marketplaces and know how marketplaces work, you must have the suppliers, you must have the marketplace, but the most important thing in the marketplace is activity. The reason that Facebook is popular is not anymore because of their technology. It's just the fact that everybody's on Facebook. And so that's where everybody is, because everybody's on Facebook. The same thing is here. If you want ground transportation providers to provide great service and care about the work that you provide, you need demand generators that can put a lot of work through that marketplace. And with the backing of Uber, all of the work they're putting through, and the other demand generators, we're basically really uniquely positioned to grow this marketplace. We've got the technology, the financial backing, and the demand that goes along with it. And that brings an opportunity for everybody else to tap into this marketplace, a highly functioning marketplace that's performing millions of ground transportation jobs each and every day, or every month, I should say, at those numbers, and tap in and add your 100 bookings here and there, and they'll be taken care of because it's a highly functioning marketplace. Yeah. Okay. And then to actually get started, I mean, we are kind of the back end. We're kind of the Amadeus of the ground transportation industry. So, if you're looking to make your own bookings, you really couldn't connect to us directly. But there are, as you see, the operators that I listed there. But also, if you're a travel management company that has a technology partner that provides your booking technology, put them in touch with us. We have an API that they can integrate with and be able to seamlessly add ground transportation to your offering. If you're a GDS, we can work with you, and you can we can give you a feed for ground transportation, and then you can follow that. So that's how you engage with us. Unfortunately, not directly through an API, but if you are working with a technology provider, or you are a technology provider, please contact us, and we can do an integration. Usually it takes about 3 to 4 weeks, and those services can be provided to your customers. Okay, that's all I've got to say. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take them. Any questions at all? Anybody? All clear, yes? Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us today, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much.